Tonight we are following the fortunes of two men who paid a Kent-based introduction agency to find them a young Thai bride. Dr. Brian Hitchings from Poole in Dorset was after a traditional bride.
To women back home, I would say these girls are feminine. It's not much to ask, and they are feminine. It's natural.
Bill Russell had failed to find love in this country, so he was giving Thailand a try.
A beautiful young Thai girl. It's amazing that she's fallen in love with me, and it appears that she has.
They'd made their choice. Now we pick up the story as Bill and Brian attempt to bring their fiancés to Britain. This kind of arranged marriage is still unusual enough for one of our bridegrooms to make up to £50,000 by selling his story. But the practice is growing, and there's a growing campaign to ban it. Tonight on Meridian Focus, we ask, is this a harmless way of helping lonely old men, or a cynical trade in the young girls who become Thai brides?
I'm looking for a Thai girl because I've failed in the last 12 years to meet somebody. It may be nobody else's fault but my own. But these girls are available, and they seem to like older men.
You only have to read the local personal column, and you will see as often as not, their key phrase is independent woman. I don't want the one who's going to be a career woman per se. There's nothing wrong with them wanting to do some work, but if you start off a marriage where they are going to make it clear they want to be a career woman, then it is a gamble, and I think the family has to come first.
In a rundown suburb of Bangkok, retired naval surgeon Dr. Brian Hitchings had just a few minutes to pick a bride. He chose a hairdresser called Jai. She's 26, he's 58.
Okay, we happy? Yeah, because it's very difficult for me, you know.
Dr. Brian Hitchings paid a Kent-based introduction agency to find him a Thai bride. If Brian takes to her, Jai could soon become the new Mrs. Hitchings, sampling life not in Bangkok, but in a bungalow at Poole in Dorset. Through the same introduction agency, 53-year-old Bill Russell has also picked a bride. He's gone for a 36-year-old woman called Barn. Adamant that he didn't want anyone with children, he chose a woman with a young son and daughter.
This wonderful Thai girl that's going to be my wife wants to come and live with me in England. Cold, damp England. Yeah? The girl must love me. Okay.
Bill put a ring on Barnes' finger after they'd known each other for just 1 week. Now, after 3 months, he's gone back to Bangkok to get married, and this is his stag night. Back in Britain, and Brian is hedging his bets. Jai has arrived at Heathrow on a fiancé visa. This means Brian has 6 months to decide whether to marry her or send her back to Bangkok. A kind of sailor return guarantee. But then Brian's a bit of a veteran when it comes to finding love in foreign countries. Last year, he signed up with another agency and set off this time for Russia.
I found that that after 2 or 3 days, I'd met a selection of 3 girls that I liked. And I can tell you, unfortunately, the one I fell in love with didn't with me, and the one who fell in love with me, I didn't with them. So at least that's reassuring, giving me confidence in a way.
Russia didn't work for Brian, but Thailand certainly has. Now he's looking forward to showing Jai the delights of England's south coast.
In England, you've got like Brighton and Bournemouth, which are like Pattaya and Bang Sen, the 2 near seaside resorts to Bangkok. So I said they were the sort of equivalent, so that gave her an idea.
But some think girls like Jai have been sold a rosy view of Britain that no longer exists. This Filipino lawyer is an expert on the problems of these arranged marriages. She's concerned that the law allows husbands to dominate their new wives, and if the brides don't do what they're told, they're sent packing.
The immigration rule provides that if the marriage breaks down within a year, she will be subject to deportation. So she is entirely dependent on the husband, not just for her status, but also for money, for everything.
But for now, in Bangkok, Bill's bride is very much in charge. He's completely dependent on Ban because it's his wedding day. But this is a wedding Thai style, and he hasn't got a clue what's coming next.
That takes care of the evil spirits, eh?
Are you very nervous?
Very nervous. Very nervous.
Good smart.
Extremely nervous. I just hope everything goes well.
พร้อมยังพร้อมรอไหมเคนรอไหมขนาดนี้รอไหมรอแล้วเอาเดินพี่โอ่งเลยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยโ
But before Bill is allowed to enter his mother-in-law's house, there are a number of rituals he must perform. At each stage, he also has to hand over money before he can go any further. In the last 3 months, Bill and Barn have spent just 3 weeks in each other's company. Soon Bill will have to leave her behind again while he waits for her to get a visa. Back at pool in Dorset, and Brian's fiancée was getting the first glimpse of her new home, but as yet he hadn't named the big day.
I've got to carry you, right? Okay. Yeah, no, it's an English custom. English custom.
Jai discovered Brian had turned every room into a shrine to his new love, but she still can't understand what he's talking about.
It was Chiang, I think, wasn't it? We went down Mr. Ken. The People's Princess, you like Di? Okay, I put you're my queen forever, okay? You like, yeah. Very romantic, aren't I?
Oh, thank you very much.
I did these, I got these Canon copier, photocopier. They're almost as good as photographs. Everyone, I thought, I just started putting them in frames. I'd never bought frames in my life before, and I went to the shop and cleared up the whole lot. I said, I'm not doing this every day. If anything has come out of Mikado, the Mikado, Gilbert and Sullivan, so you've got 5 girls there with the parasols, 5 pretty maids or something. It's not, you know, Gilbert and Sullivan. I thought they just stepped out of Gilbert and Sullivan, but they're not. They're 5 real girls in North Thailand who are just walking down the street like that. Actually, it occupied about 2-3 weeks of my time. I quite enjoyed doing it. I just wanted to get out to Bangkok. Oh, I must introduce you to the rotary arm. This is an English invention for washing. You don't know, I'll show you, look. Right. It's not a children's roundabout.
If there's a problem between them, they can ask advice from Charles Black, the man who arranged their marriage from his home at Farnborough in Kent. Charles Black is a convicted counterfeiter. He was sentenced to 10 years for forging banknotes. His criminal past bars him from many jobs, but there's nothing to stop him running a Thai introduction agency.
She gets what she wants out of life, and the Englishman gets what he wants out of life. As regards everybody else, to hell with them. I mean, my wife is 30 years younger than me. I'm extremely happy. I don't give a damn what anybody thinks about it.
Charles Black hopes Bill and Brian will be as happy with their Thai brides as he is with his. Up to £3,000 can buy you his view of married bliss. As for his wife, her ideal is a country where the basics are paid for by the state.
In Thailand, you have to pay everything. For everything, school, the doctor, and everything, have to pay the money. But in this country, in England, don't need to pay anything.
She's not alone in believing Britain can offer a better life. That's one reason hundreds of girls are signing up with this introduction agency. But there are other factors. As a Thai girl, if you're divorced or have children, few Thai men will even look at you. Even at 26, women are considered over the hill. Men are expected to sleep around in Thailand. Against this background, Bill and Brian are considered highly eligible. This man from Littlehampton in West Sussex believes the women are being sold a sentimental picture, which isn't true. He married a Filipino woman, but says they took years to get to know each other. He set up a support group for men looking for real love, and he has strong views on Charles Black's fast-track approach to marriage.
The agency run by Charles Black is nothing short of a prostitution of women, exploitation of UK men and Thai women. It's something that I think the majority of people in the UK can't stomach, and they'd like to see the back of it.
And he says it can all go horribly wrong. Take the case of Jum. She signed up with Charles Black's agency and was picked by former Gas Board chief Brian Clegg from Pooh in Dorset. She was 23, he was 75.
Well, the first thing she did was to ask me for £5,000, which is a ludicrous sum for anybody to just ask you for. And, of course, I refused.
Brian says she was a gold digger. Jum says he was sex mad. Whatever the truth, she left him after just 2 days.
She got out one day on her own, my vacuum, and started cleaning, and I was against it because it cost me over £1,000. It's a very special one, and she didn't know how to use it.
He met her, married her, all within 3 days, and it was the wrong decision. She's a silly girl from the point of view that she would have been a very wealthy woman, probably one of the most wealthiest ones in Thailand, had she stopped with him on his demise. But, however, that's the way it went.
Jum's now back washing dishes in a London restaurant, the same job she left in Thailand. She'll be deported any day now.
How come you don't? Oh, yeah.
Nevertheless, last year, 400 Thai women just like Barn came to Britain as brides or fiancées, the highest number for 5 years. Barn's situation is more complicated than most because she has 2 children. And as the wedding day drew to a close, Bill was beginning to wonder what he'd taken on.
I'll tell you something I can't understand. She wants a daughter to live with us in England, which is going to be a problem with the language. But there are other children from foreign countries in England, you know, who are struggling learning English, going to school. I know about that. But I'm not sure how I stand legally. I may have to adopt her daughter.
With his new wife comes a whole new family, a family she may expect to bring to Britain and he may be expected to provide for. The commitment was beginning to sink in.
Coke would be over in that corner.
Brian couldn't wait to show off his new bride. For some reason, he felt strongly drawn to his local supermarket.
In fact, when I've gone to a lot of the Tesco's or whatever, I've felt at home. I felt almost in Bangkok because I keep seeing Thai girls and Japanese and overseas. So I thought, in fact, I've almost felt sometimes I must go down to Tesco's. It'll remind me of Jai. Thank you.
But as Brian was paying out money with one hand, he was also making it with the other. The story of an older man and a beautiful foreign bride is a story the press is still willing to pay for. And he'd already secured the services of a Harley Street media agent.
We can make him famous, we can make him a lot of money. His story is worth a great deal of money to the media. Newspapers make thousands of pounds a day selling stories like Brian's to the public. He's middle-aged, he's got a middle-of-the-road job, middle-of-the-road lifestyle, and he's decided to break away from that, travel abroad, and meet a beautiful woman who's probably 30 years younger than him, who can keep him happy for a very long time. There are a lot of men out there who'd wish, God, I wish I could do that, and they haven't, but he has. A story like this, it could be worth between £20,000 to £50,000 if it's marketed properly, both here and abroad.
Soon Brian's face was gracing the tabloid pages, and he'd even been booked to appear on breakfast television. But while Brian does deals, Bill waits patiently at the airport, hoping his new wife hasn't changed her mind.
I'm really excited and nervous about meeting her. I wonder how she's going to find England in this cold weather, this cold, wet, damp weather. But most of all, what's she going to feel like at my house? I'll take her home. Yeah. Wonderful to see you.
Yeah.
How are you? How was your flight?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You happy to be in England? Happy to see you?
Yeah. Okay.
Any flowers?
Yeah.
I'll push this for you. You take the flowers. No problems?
No problem.
Good. We're going over that way. I hope you don't miss the sunshine of Thailand.
Sunshine, Thailand.
I worry about you.
Yeah.
Cold, damp English weather.
Don't
You
worry.
keep warm.
Don't worry. I'm pleased to meet you.
I'm so pleased to meet you.
Yeah.
This is the most dangerous time for their marriage. Experts say many break up early because of the language barrier and because the wife realizes she's been sold a false dream.
The women are often told that the men are always rich, always very generous. And as far as the men are concerned, they are often told that the women are, I think one of the magazines that are sent out by these types of agencies, are the quote is beautiful, biddable, and beddable, which again are knowingly false.
Even so, the internet is full of Filipino and Thai girls eager to meet an Englishman and come to Britain. In the Philippines, things got so bad, they were losing 20,000 girls a year. In 1990, the government stepped in to ban the trade. But there's little they can do to stop an international trade that advertises on the web. Brian's thankful nothing stopped him from bringing his bride into Britain. His only worry now is whether this former beauty queen will change her mind because of the British weather.
Maybe she's going to do okay, because I'd have thought she'd have been putting jumpers on. No jumper. In fact, I got a vest, shirt, and I had a jumper ready, and this, and I'm the one who's just feeling that she's not complaining or anything, so pretty good.
Jai, what do you think of where Brian lives, his house?
Very good.
What's your impressions of England? Whatever she thinks of England, she's going to be staying here, for Brian's decided to marry her.
In matrimony, to Norman Brian Hitchings. To Norman Brian Hitchings.
From here, the clock starts ticking. According to the immigration rules, Brian has 1 year from today in which to keep Jai or send her packing back to Thailand.
A toast to Brian and Jay. Brian and Jay.
To make Jai feel at home, one wedding present is a walk.
Arriving in Bangkok at 6 in the morning, meeting her at 3 in the afternoon, proposing 48 hours later. So it's all a bit jet-lagged in more than one sense. But anyway, this is Jay, and I knew she was around the world somewhere. I just thought I'd keep going around the world till I find her, and I got her. Well done.
It's now Barnes' turn to see where she will be living from now on.
What do you think? You like? This is my garden. A lot of work to do there.
I'd only heard about Bangkok, but it turned out to be one of the most beautiful, clean, dynamic cities I'd ever seen. I was told it was going to be put razor blades in your pocket, you're going to be beaten up, you're going to have AIDS and everything, and it was nothing like that. So once again, you've got to do things yourself. So that's that anyway. You haven't, have you? Got... Okay, that's it.
I never
Wild
see.
rose. Never seen?
Never.
It would appear that this is a marriage of convenience. This is a bought for bride. And all I have paid for is an agent's fee to arrange a meeting. But having done that, that doesn't going to mean that you're buying a woman. You have to have some feeling for each other, because as far as I'm concerned, it's a lifelong commitment. He's got to feel right. Unfortunately, this does.
But there's more than just Bill's feelings to take into account here. There's also Barnes' 2 young children to consider. Were you unhappy to leave your children back in Bangkok?
Oh, I don't worry. No. Don't worry.
For a mother to leave her children behind, it must be a wrench, so you've got to presume that she does love me very much. And she can look forward to her daughter coming over here next year, perhaps.
Those campaigning against this trade are calling for Charles Black's agency to be closed down.
It reminds me of, was it in the Egyptian days or something, where they used to go to the market and they'd have all these ladies paraded up there on the stage or whatever, and they'd barter how much they were going to pay for them. That's what it reminds me of. It's just a meat market. It's cruel. Mr. Black, in my view, is quite an evil person, and something has got to be done to stop this trade, as he calls it, the best export from Thailand.
He's 25, 5'3" tall, elementary education. She works as a waitress.
But in practice, how could the British government stop it?
They can introduce laws, they can criminalize formation of such agencies, they can criminalize in advertisement of such agencies, and they can subject the people who are involved to heavy penalties, including seizure of assets coming from payments from such agencies.
But the agencies say if they were banned in Britain, they'd simply move abroad. Their trade will survive because the demand is growing daily. And the present law makes everyone happy. The men get what they want, and if the marriage survives for a year, the women are classed as British citizens.
It was getting to the stage where I just wanted to get her back safe and sound, you know, regardless of everything else. Yeah, I think I'm more back to the way I was with more my normal self in relation with somebody rather than living by yourself. Yeah, because it doesn't do anybody any good, really.
My only worry is that she'll be lonely on her own while I'm at work, and she'll start missing her friends and her family. But next door is a young girl called Wendy, and across the road is another young girl, Jane, and they're home most of the time, so hopefully they become friends, and she'll have somebody to chat to and have a cup of tea with.
For a few £1,000s, men like Bill and Brian are practically guaranteed a beautiful young wife. It's a trade governments find almost impossible to ban, and worsening conditions in third world countries ensure there's no shortage of female recruits. And the former boss of Northern Gas has learned that if it all goes horribly wrong, the man can try again while the woman gets deported.
As far as it concerns the girl, I've found out that I'm obviously not as good as managing a marriage of this kind as I was at managing a gas board. I've made a balls of it.
His wife is due to be deported any day now. But the majority of Thai brides stay with their husbands. Brian and Jai are still together. Bill and Barn are still together, so far.